Jen Welter looks like a normal coach. She sounds like a normal coach.
This backside player is very key right now.
But it's what she coaches that makes her stand out. Linebackers for the Texas Revolution, making her the first woman ever to be a coach on a professional men's football team.
I look at it as I'm doing something for all the women who love football and all the little girls who think they love football but there's something wrong with them. For them to be able to see like there really could be a future, to me that's powerful.
When Welter talks about those girls, she's speaking from experience.
I grew up in Vero Beach, Florida, where like Texas, football is a religion. And I always just loved Friday Night Lights. I thought it was heroes. It was the gladiators of sports, and I always wanted to play.
With no opportunities for that, Welter waited for the next best thing, playing rugby at Boston College. Then during her first year after graduation, she finally got a chance to get on the gridiron with the Mass Mutiny, a startup women's professional team. But her corporate sales employer had other thoughts.
They, in a closed-door meeting, told me they were afraid if I played football, I would mess up my pretty face. And they told me not to do it. And I kind of probably wasn't the most politically correct person, as I told them I wouldn't be working there anymore. And I was their lead salesperson at the time. I was bringing in more contracts than anybody. But they were more worried about my looks than my ability. I just remember thinking there was a guy who sat right next to me who was an ex-football player. If he would have made the Patriots, would they have told him that he had to quit? No. And yet for a woman, it was a problem.
So Welter left her job to follow her dream, which was difficult in more ways than one.
I remember when I first called my parents and told them I was going to play football, I think my mom was on the verge of tears. She was like, oh no. And my dad was like, no, Nancy, this is good. She has a helmet now. It's professional, they say. But I can tell you that the checks were so small that I never cashed one. It was $1 a game at one time. I was playing for $1 a game. I still have the check framed.
Despite the financial challenges, Welter loved every minute, playing 14 seasons and redirecting her off-field career by earning a doctorate in psychology.
Oh, got a free defender coming straight in. That was Jen Welter.
One of the hardest hitting football players I've ever seen.
10 of those seasons were spent with the Dallas Diamonds, which drew the attention of the Revolution. That led to a meeting with new head coach Wendell Davis, a former Dallas Cowboy and Arena Bowl champion.
She surprised me on the knowledge she knew about the game, so I was like, hey, what is you doing this year? She's like, I asked her would she like to coach.
At first I told him no.
Yeah, but she really wanted to say yes.
My biggest concern was how the guys would be. And being a new coach, would I have enough knowledge to really get them that would kind of overcome the fact that they were like, oh my gosh, are we really being coached by a girl?
She knows what she's doing. That's the good thing about the whole situation. She's been there. She ain't scared to yell at the players. She ain't scared if the players yell back at her. But you know, we having fun, and she's a big help.
Something that helped Welter gain immediate respect in the locker room was her success as a player. Enough championship rings to fill a fist and 2 international gold medals. That's right, women's football is an international sport, and she says it's growing. And while these may have all been won in the women's game, a champion is a champion regardless of gender. And these boys want to be the best, just like her.
That Jack's gotta come downhill.
I mean, she's proved a lot. She's done a lot. So it's kind of hard not to respect that. We got to look up to her to take us there, and she's doing it.
I want all of these guys to feel what that's like, because it changes you. You know, that's something, no matter what goes on in your life, nobody can take that from you.
Another big thing that earned her respect was the team she played for during the prior season. It was the Revolution. Another historic achievement for Welter, as she became the first woman ever to spend a full season with a men's professional team playing a non-kicking position. At 5'2", 130 pounds, and 36 years old, Welter played running back for the first time in her career, and her first carry was stopped by a player she now coaches, which she didn't know until he brought it up.
He goes, and I mean, as soon as I hit you, I was like, ooh, that was a good hit. Ooh, I might have killed her.
Oh, kill shot. Kill shot. She came right up the middle, and we cleaned her. It wasn't just me, it was me and a couple other guys.
I'm just laughing because there's nothing else you can do. I mean, I remember it. And he goes, and then when I'm afraid, like, you know, it crossed my mind, like, oh, is she going to get... Before I could even think, is she going to get up? You were already up.
And she popped right up, jabbing her jaws.
You made me question myself, Coach. He's like, that was impressive.
It kind of phased you a little bit, kind of a little mental thing, but yeah, she gave me respect there.
So he had gone to all the players and told them that story. So they were already like, okay. And I think that was a big help.
And for those thinking she was just a publicity stunt for the franchise, Welter has this response.
I'd like to think if I was going to do a publicity stunt, I could figure out one that was a little less painful. You know, arena football, you can't even run out of bounds. So I would try and think of one that didn't involve me getting hit by very large men. I had no delusions that I was going to come in here and be the leading rusher for the team. But what I wanted to give them was, you know, somebody who would never quit and somebody who was a great teammate.
While the physical toll was high, she says giving up being a player was the hardest part of becoming a coach, though the upside is obvious.
I know that my body is going to be like, oh, see, that could have been you. Aren't you glad you're safe here on the sideline?
But while the physical side may be easier on the sideline, the mental side is more challenging because she knows making history means being under a microscope.
You have to know you're going to be looked at extra closely. They're going to watch you even harder. A guy could get the exact same job I did, not take it seriously, do badly, and maybe nobody would notice. But if I were to do that same thing, it would be very quickly on the radar.
You have this, and they're working outside. You guys have to stay home on the inside.
So where does Welter go from here? Right now, her goal is to learn from the staff surrounding her, which includes 2 Super Bowl champions and Hall of Famer Tim Brown. However, she is well aware of the bigger picture, tackling the notion that women and football can't mix, even though there are 2 women's leagues featuring nearly 80 teams in North America. But as a former linebacker, tackling is what she does best, and she's eager to take on another revolution.
I hope other women who are great in football get more opportunities because they saw that it can work. You know, they saw that women can love football and, you know, play it, analyze it, know it, coach it with the same intensity and commitment to the game that guys can. You know, I have a goddaughter and she's like, Mama Jen, you know, I love that you believe you can do anything. And it's having an impact on girls like her, or going to talk to girls and show them that they can do anything and be anything, that makes it all worthwhile.